The Waking Playtest 1. You want to roll a d20. Whoever goes highest goes first. Make sure your health is at 20 and your stamina is at 1. Collect 8 cards from your character deck and then put it on your deck pile or your draw pile. Everyone starts at black. And then you're going to want to roll a d6 for movement. So I did forget a couple things on the first playthrough. I forgot to put my colored spot underneath. I played an action card right there. I just deal damage to his health. I did forget to do rations, so later on in the video you'll see we'll use the green slime balls, which is for another character, as rations. I also forgot to include quest or task pile, so that's something else I'm going to be printing out. Here we are just collecting our rations for the ration meeting. I did speed this up because it would be a almost half-hour video without double speed. He rolls again. He goes the other way. He's discarding his cards. Doesn't seem to have anything.
I play, so I'm gonna look at your hand, and then force the card to. You have to play the next card I choose, and then you can discard a card from my
This
hand.
character specifically has a thing where they can discard from the character deck or force an action. So you'll just see this happen with this character. There is a sheet, one of those gray sheets you see on there, that explain what some of the characters do in very quick, like 2-sentence summaries.
Okay. Well, you can play that on the first card on the bottom, and it says you discard one of my. It just says discard a card from your hand. Okay. That is all from me. I discarded.
The actions do look short here because, again, I forgot the task pile, which would be an extra step in the action turns. Each round consists of every player, so if you have 3 players, each round is 3 players worth, and if you have 2, it's only 2 players worth, and so on. Here I place a card that doesn't mirror. It is a special thing to the Bloody Mary character. So he knows that he had to commit to one direction, so he was padding out his way first and then using that way. In terms of committing to a direction, it doesn't mean you can just go back and forth on one pile. You have once you start moving away, you have to stay that way. You can change directions in terms of like you don't have to set like that way, like how he did when he changed his pathway, but you can't just go back and forth on two squares. So here I'm going after the dead space. This is something I will remove because I found that the incentive was just not worth it, and it's hard to keep track of while trying to maintain the action turn right, the characters, the coloring with the districts, and the ration meetings and so on. So that is something that won't be in the game. So he's just looking through his cards. I'm waiting for my turn. Speed this up a little bit. So here he starts a ration meeting. I forgot to create a paper that explains it. But a ration meeting, everyone has to put in one ration, which is right now the little goo balls. There's cards where you can take lead. If you take lead, then once the ration meeting ends, you gain those rations. So how the ration meeting ends is once the ration meeting starts, and after everyone empties, if it comes back to if the round comes back to you, like it goes around the table, it comes back to you without anyone taking lead of the rations, then you take those rations. If someone takes lead of the rations and it goes back to them, then they take it without interruption if no one takes it. Here I'm moving again, so I'm chasing after the death space. We are at round 4. Each of those symbols on the map do have something important, which is on the sheet you see right there. So he lands on encounter. I still haven't glued this on yet, so those are gonna have like a little backspace, so you can tell which one is the city event and the encounter space, and then you'll pull it randomly instead of it just being out in the open like that from the top.
But essentially, if you pass it, then if you pass it, you have to discard a card. Okay. I don't really have to. I guess I can use these.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
Alright.
So here he uses power. That's not him moving. I just forgot to include a little like eyeball for that character. That is something I need to print out as well.
You discard a card from your hand first.
Either that or I will use some sort of other way, but it most likely will get printed out. And then he took my card with his thing because I passed it. That's how that card works. So honestly, this game seems like it can last a while. I think I inflated the numbers too much from 1 to 30. Honestly, 1 to 15 might be a little better because it just seems like this game can go on for so long. As you can see, my health bar is barely touched, and his, well, it is closer, is also barely touched. This is just 2 people though, so it's kind of hard to say how much, because some of the characters do stronger damage. There I am moving. I forgot to put another green thing, so I put down another one.
Sewage district got cleaned. Everybody placed in the sewage district provides
I was copying him, so there's not a space up there, but I was copying because I didn't want to cover it, but later on I cover it.
in the rest. Oh, just stays like that.
There is a lot of design flaws, so like I said before, the death space doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Player experience is interesting. I'm not sure if it's more addictive because we did play this late at night, and it's not super easy to understand, but I think once you play it a few times, you start to understand it a bit more. It is a bit complex because this kind of derived off a card game, and since the card game is the main focus, the board is also kind of hard to keep track of too. So I'm gonna see if I can kind of work on that a little bit, but it's kind of too late to change it. Some solutions, I think I'll just have to explain, but I think the best way for the solution is just gameplay, kind of having to understand the complexity, because oftentimes board games are supposed to be complex, or not supposed to be, but a lot of times in the board game community, people like more complex board games, and that's what I was kind of going for than like an easy Monopoly type of game.
I guess I will teleport to the nearest mirror. Oh, teleport to the nearest player or swap positions. I guess I'll just swap.
As for the game, basing off the game this was derived or influenced from, this game can last a long time, because the other game is called Red and Dragon. It lasts roughly around an hour usually, and that's without this board. It's just like the character boards and the cards. And with the board, while it's not the main thing, it gives certain buffs sometimes, which can probably extend the game. Sometimes it does have some debuffs, but for the most part, I think most of them are buffs towards either HP, stamina, or rations, which definitely include the games which definitely can elongate the game, because those are all your resources, so you don't get out of the game quickly. I think this was my way of having players stay in longer, but there is a lot of downtime in between for rounds because character rounds can take a while.
Move past the space yard.
Oh, yes, that's true.
But yeah.
But I also didn't want to have too much downtime for when people get out. But I think, in hindsight, if rounds can last a while and someone gets out early, then they're going to be out for a while. But it's kind of really late to try to change it now, so I'm not sure if there's any solutions with that at the moment.
This is 30. 30. No, 30 each.
So here we start ending off the game because it's getting kind of late. So we just go whoever is closest to dying, which is more likely the other player. So I'm moving some of the stuff just to start, and then because of the death space, we do actually lose the game because the incentive is supposed to be every 6 rounds. If you don't land on it, then the game just ends, which is really weird in hindsight. And that's good that I got it from my other player or my brother. So what I did is just kind of mark it over and just kind of erased it because there's not really any incentive to get it besides needing to, which is not a good game design. So here we just kind of end it off, and that is the game for the Waking. There's a lot of stuff I kind of learned from this first playthrough, and hopefully I'll get a bit more from the critiques on Friday.